The forest stood wide and silent as morning light struggled to pass through thick branches and tall trees. Cold air rested close to the ground, and the smell of wet soil filled the space between roots and fallen leaves. Birds moved carefully above, while the ground below showed no sign of human life for many miles. This was a place people avoided, and today, it became the center of a terrible choice. A dark, expensive car slowed near an old broken path that led into the forest. The engine stopped, and the silence returned stronger than before. Inside the car sat a man named Richard whose face showed wealth but not peace. He was known in cities as a powerful billionaire, yet power meant nothing to him in this moment. In the back seat lay his young daughter Lily wrapped in soft blankets. Her skin was pale and her breathing was slow and shallow. She had been sick for many weeks and her body had grown weak with every passing day. Doctors had tried medicine and machines, but nothing brought her back to strength. Richard had spent endless nights sitting beside hospital beds holding her small hand. He listened to experts speak in calm voices while fear screamed inside him. Money opened every door but could not buy answers this time. Each failed attempt slowly broke his belief in control and logic. Late one night, a desperate thought found its way into his mind. An old man once spoke of nature healing where humans failed. The words stayed with him even when he tried to ignore them. Fear made the idea grow until it felt like the only path left. Richard drove through the dark until the city lights disappeared behind him. He told himself he was giving Lily a chance, not abandoning her. The lie felt thin but his heart clung to it. When the forest appeared he felt both relief and terror. He stepped out of the car and carried Lily carefully in his arms. Her body felt lighter than it should have felt. Each step into the forest made his chest tighten with pain. The trees watched in still silence as if waiting. He placed her gently near a large tree where the ground was soft. He adjusted her coat and brushed hair away from her face. Lily slowly opened her eyes and looked at him with quiet trust. She asked why they were stopping in such a strange place. Richard could not speak without breaking apart. He kissed her forehead and told her to rest. His hands shook as he stood up and stepped away. The sound of his footsteps felt louder than thunder in his ears. He returned to the car and sat there frozen. The engine started, but his heart refused to move forward. After a long moment, fear pushed him to drive away. The forest swallowed the path behind him as if he had never been there. Time passed slowly for Lily as the cold crept closer. The forest grew quieter as daylight faded. She tried to stay awake, but her strength slipped away. Her small breaths made faint clouds in the cold air. Not far from the forest edge, a police station received a missing child report. The call came from a worried staff member who noticed something wrong. A search team was formed quickly without delay. Every minute mattered when a child was missing. Among the team was a police dog named Rex. Rex was trained for tracking and rescue for many years. He was strong, alert, and deeply focused. When he worked he showed no fear and no hesitation. The team entered the forest following early clues. Rex lowered his nose to the ground and began moving forward. His body language changed as soon as he caught a scent. His pace quickened, pulling the handler behind him. The officers followed carefully through branches and uneven ground. The forest felt heavier as they moved deeper. Cold air brushed against their faces, and silence pressed close. Rex did not slow down even once. Suddenly Rex stopped and lifted his head. His ears stood straight and his body went still. He released a sharp alert sound that echoed between trees. The handler rushed forward, sensing discovery. There, near the base of a large tree, lay a small figure. Lily was curled on the ground, barely moving. Her face was pale and her lips were dry. The officers felt shock and urgency at the sight. One officer knelt beside her and checked her breathing. She was alive but weak and dangerously cold. They wrapped her carefully and called for medical support. Rex stayed close, pressing his warm body against her side. Lily slowly opened her eyes once more. The first thing she saw was the dog beside her. She reached out weakly and touched his fur. Rex stayed perfectly still, offering warmth and comfort. Far away, Richard sat alone in his large silent home. No sound could fill the space inside his chest. Sudden fear struck him without reason or warning. He did not yet know that the forest had answered his choice. The sound of rushing footsteps filled the forest as the officers worked together with calm focus. Cold air no longer felt silent as voices and radios moved through the trees. Lily was lifted carefully and wrapped in warm covers. Her breathing remained weak but steady enough to give hope. Rex stayed close as they carried her toward the open path. He walked beside her without pulling or slowing. His eyes never left her face. The bond between them felt strong even in those few moments. An ambulance waited at the edge of the forest with lights glowing softly. Medical workers moved quickly but gently around the small child. They checked her pulse and wrapped her in more warmth. The forest slowly released its hold as they drove away. Inside the moving vehicle, Lily drifted between sleep and awareness. She felt warmth for the first time in many hours. A calm presence stayed near her and she felt safe. Rex sat quietly beside her, as if guarding her breath. At the hospital, bright lights replaced shadows. Doctors moved with serious faces and steady hands. They worked to stabilize her fragile body. Every moment felt like a fragile thread holding hope together. News of the rescue spread quietly among staff and officers. Questions arose about how a child ended up so deep in the forest. No answers came at first. Only concern and urgency guided every action. Richard sat alone in his office staring at nothing. The walls around him felt empty and cold. He replayed the moment he left Lily again and again. Regret pressed on him heavier than any loss he had known. His phone suddenly rang, breaking the silence. The number was unfamiliar and his hands trembled as he answered. A calm voice asked if he was Lily's father. His heart dropped before any words followed. The officer explained that Lily had been found alive. Richard collapsed into the chair, unable to stand. Relief and shame crashed into him together. Tears came freely without control or dignity. He rushed to the hospital without thinking of traffic or time. Every second felt like punishment for his choice. His wealth felt meaningless compared to this drive. He reached the building breathless and shaking. Doctors met him and explained Lily's condition. She was stable but still very weak. The cold had harmed her body deeply. Recovery would be slow and uncertain. Richard was allowed to see her briefly. Lily lay in a clean white bed with tubes and monitors. Her face looked smaller than he remembered. He stood frozen, afraid to step closer. Rex lay quietly near her bed. The dog lifted his head and watched Richard carefully. There was no anger in his eyes, only alert awareness. Richard felt judged without a sound. Lily opened her eyes slowly and saw her father. She did not cry or speak. She only looked at him calmly. That look broke him completely. He whispered her name and reached out. His hand hovered, unsure if he deserved contact. Lily slowly lifted her fingers toward him. The touch felt like forgiveness and pain combined. Doctors explained that Rex's presence had helped her body temperature stabilize. The warmth and calm contact mattered more than expected. Rex became part of her recovery plan. He stayed close whenever allowed. Over the next days, Lily's condition improved little by little. She began to eat small amounts and rest more peacefully. Her color slowly returned. Hope returned carefully, step by step. Richard stayed by her side day and night. He spoke softly even when she slept. He promised never to leave again. Words felt weak, but he spoke them anyway. Investigators asked gentle questions about what happened. Richard told the truth without hiding. He accepted responsibility for his actions. There was no excuse that could erase the past. The story reached the public quietly at first. People felt shock, sadness, and anger. Many questioned how a father could make such a choice. Others focused on the miracle of survival. Rex became known as the dog who found the lost child. His calm eyes appeared in photos beside Lily's bed. People felt comfort seeing them together. Hope spread where despair once lived. Richard faced consequences that could not be avoided. Yet his focus remained on Lily's recovery. He learned that love required presence, not fear. Power could not replace responsibility. Lily slowly began to smile again. She spoke more each day. She often asked where Rex was. The dog always came when called. The forest no longer haunted her dreams. Warm light replaced cold memories. Her strength returned piece by piece. A new chapter quietly began. But outside the hospital walls something larger was forming. Public attention grew stronger each day. Questions about responsibility and redemption filled conversations. What happened next would change every life involved. The hospital slowly became a place of routine instead of fear. Morning light entered Lily's room every day with quiet warmth. Machines still hummed, but their sounds no longer felt threatening. Lily's strength returned in small, steady steps. She began sitting up with help and eating warm food. Her eyes looked brighter and more curious each day. Doctors spoke with calmer voices and careful smiles. Hope grew without rushing. Rex remained close whenever he was allowed. He rested near her bed or by the door. Lily laughed softly when he placed his head near her hand. The connection between them deepened without effort. Richard watched these moments with mixed feelings. Gratitude filled him, but guilt never left. He knew survival did not erase his choice. He accepted that some mistakes leave permanent marks. Outside the hospital, the story spread across the city. People spoke about the forest and the rescue. Some voices were harsh and others understanding. The truth moved freely without protection. Authorities completed their investigation carefully. Richard cooperated fully without resistance. He spoke honestly about fear and poor judgment. He did not defend his actions. Public response remained divided. Some people focused on Lily's recovery. Others focused on responsibility and accountability. Both sides watched closely. Richard chose silence in public spaces. He avoided interviews and statements. His focus stayed on Lily's healing. He believed actions mattered more than words. Days passed and Lily began walking short distances. Each step felt like a victory. She held onto rails and smiled proudly. Nurses cheered softly to encourage her. Rex walked beside her at her pace. He moved slowly and carefully. His calm presence gave her confidence. Fear no longer controlled her movement. One afternoon Lily asked about the forest. The question made the room quiet. Richard felt his chest tighten again. He waited, unsure how to answer. A doctor explained gently that she was safe now. The forest no longer held power over her. Lily listened quietly and nodded. She did not ask more. Later that night Richard sat alone by the window. City lights reflected off the glass. He thought about control and fear. He realized love required courage, not escape. He made a decision that night without hesitation. He planned to step away from his public role. Time would be spent where it mattered most. Wealth would no longer lead his choices. The next day he informed his company leadership. They reacted with surprise and concern. He remained firm and calm. This path felt necessary. Lily noticed the change quickly. Her father stayed longer and listened more. He read stories and asked simple questions. Trust slowly rebuilt without pressure. Doctors announced Lily could leave the hospital soon. Home recovery would begin carefully. Special care plans were prepared. Rex's involvement continued with approval. The day of discharge felt emotional and quiet. Staff gathered to wish Lily well. Some wiped away tears without shame. The journey had touched many hearts. Outside reporters waited, but Richard avoided them. He shielded Lily from attention. Privacy mattered now more than image. Protection replaced fear. At home, Lily adjusted slowly. Sunlight filled her room every morning. Rex explored the space carefully. Laughter replaced silence. Therapy sessions continued regularly. Each session strengthened her body and spirit. Rex remained part of the routine. Comfort came naturally. One evening, Lily asked why Rex stayed with her. Richard answered honestly but gently. He said Rex chose her. The answer made her smile. Public pressure continued quietly in the background. Legal decisions approached steadily. Richard accepted what was coming. Avoidance was no longer his way. He attended meetings with calm respect. Consequences were discussed without drama. He did not seek special treatment. Responsibility guided his actions. Rex received recognition from the department. The ceremony was simple and respectful. Lily attended and clapped proudly. Rex stood still with calm dignity. People saw the moment and felt hope. The story shifted from anger to reflection. Lessons replaced judgment for many. Healing moved beyond one family. Yet challenges remained ahead. Trust once broken takes time to rebuild. Forgiveness grows slowly. The final chapter was not written yet. As night fell, Lily slept peacefully at home. Rex rested near her bed. Richard watched quietly with renewed purpose. The future waited with lessons learned. Life slowly found a new rhythm inside the quiet home. Morning light entered softly through wide windows. Lily woke each day with more strength than before. Her steps grew steadier and her smile returned fully. Rex followed her everywhere with gentle care. He stayed close without crowding her space. His presence brought comfort without effort. Trust between them felt natural and unbreakable. Richard watched these moments with deep reflection. He understood that healing was more than physical recovery. It required honesty, patience, and presence. He committed himself fully to that path. The final legal decisions arrived without drama. Richard accepted the outcome calmly. He faced responsibility with respect and humility. There was no attempt to escape consequences. Public reaction softened over time. People began to see growth instead of only failure. The story became one of learning and change. Hope replaced anger for many hearts. Richard chose to speak publicly only once. His words were simple and direct. He spoke about fear and poor choices. He encouraged courage instead of escape. Lily continued her recovery with steady progress. Doctors expressed confidence in her future. Her laughter filled rooms again. Joy returned without hesitation. Rex received a permanent place with the family. The decision felt right to everyone involved. He adjusted easily to his new role. Protection and companionship defined his days. The forest no longer appeared in Lily thoughts. Nightmares faded completely. Warm memories replaced cold fear. Safety became her truth. Richard changed his life structure entirely. He spent time in simple activities. He learned patience through daily care. Presence became his greatest value. Neighbors noticed the difference. The home felt warmer and more open. Laughter replaced silence. Life flowed without pressure. Lily began attending school again slowly. She made friends and shared stories. Rex waited for her every afternoon. Confidence returned with each step. Teachers admired her calm strength. They saw resilience beyond her age. She inspired quiet respect. Her journey shaped her gently. Richard volunteered privately to support others. He offered resources without attention. He avoided recognition. Purpose guided his actions. Rex visited the police unit occasionally. Officers greeted him with pride. His service remained honored. His story inspired many. One evening, Lily asked about the past. Richard answered with honesty and care. He admitted mistakes without fear. Trust deepened through truth. Lily listened quietly and held his hand. She expressed understanding beyond words. Forgiveness settled naturally between them. Healing reached its final stage. The family spent time outdoors together. Nature no longer felt threatening. Open fields replaced dark woods. Peace returned fully. Seasons changed without fear or loss. Time passed gently. Growth continued steadily. Life moved forward. Rex aged with dignity and calm. His loyalty never faded. He remained watchful and kind. Love surrounded him. Richard often reflected quietly at night. He acknowledged the lessons learned. Fear no longer guided decisions. Courage replaced doubt. Lily grew stronger with each passing year. Her health stabilized completely. Her spirit remained gentle and brave. She carried gratitude within her. The story reached its quiet ending. Not with applause or fame, but with understanding and change. That was enough. Love proved stronger than fear. Presence healed what escape could not. One choice changed many lives, and growth followed truth. The forest remained silent as always, but it no longer held pain. It became a reminder of how everything can change.